Hi, glad to see you on my channel. Support the channel by giving likes, subscribing, and leaving comments. For you, it's not difficult, and for me, motivation to create new videos. Enjoy watching. At the time, I was working at a car service station. The salary was so bad that I rented a room in a hostel. But it became quite unbearable: noisy neighbors, eternal parties, dirty kitchen, queues in the shower. I started looking for something cheaper. I looked through competitors' ads and asked acquaintances at work. My mom suggested, remember Susan Carter? The one who lived in the same building with us? She rents apartments cheap. I hesitated at first. After all, an acquaintance seemed inconvenient. But my mom insisted. At least she's a proven person. In the end, I called and arranged a meeting. After my shift, I arrived at the specified address. It was a nice neighborhood, quiet, green, not far from work. There were trees growing around the house, a playground, and new stores nearby. There was the scent of blooming flowers in the air, and children's laughter coming from the playground next door, making the neighborhood seem lively yet peaceful. Susan Carter met me at the entrance. I remembered her vaguely. I hadn't seen her in about 5 years. She had changed and looked better, even better groomed. She was wearing a light summer dress. Her hair was nicely styled, and her makeup was tasteful and understated. She was probably about 45 years old, but she looked younger. Her confident posture and welcoming smile immediately made me feel at ease, as if I had entered a space where I could finally breathe. We went up to the apartment. It was spacious, well renovated, with high ceilings, large windows, and natural hardwood floors. Susan gave me a tour, showing me the kitchen with new appliances, the bathroom with a jacuzzi tub, and the glassed-in balcony. The living room was decorated in soft pastel colors, filled with elegant furniture and family photos that added warmth to the space. She had expressive lips with a light sheen of lipstick and a pleasant, melodic voice. We sat down in the kitchen to have coffee. She had some special kind of coffee she brewed it in a turbo, and the smell was amazing. Rich and flavorful, it instantly made me feel at home. She told me that her children were separated. Her daughter lives in Canada, and her son lives in New York. She saw her grandchildren once a year via video link, so she decided to rent out the room for money and company. As she spoke, there was pride and longing in her voice, and her eyes sparkled at the mention of her grandchildren. We quickly came to an agreement. The price and terms were fine with me. Within a couple days, I was already moving my belongings. Susan even helped me organize my belongings to make the transition easy and enjoyable. To celebrate the housewarming party, I bought a bottle of good wine, appetizers, cheese, fruit, and candy. Susan set the table, made salads, and baked a cake. The table looked like something out of a magazine. Elegant dishes and candles completed the setting. We sat in the kitchen and talked. She told me about her youth, her work as a school teacher, and her travels with her late husband. Her stories were vivid and engaging, painting pictures of a life of hardship and joy. I listened and thought, what a beautiful and intelligent woman she is. She asked me if I had a girlfriend. I honestly answered that I did not. I explained that work takes up most of my time, leaving no room for a relationship. She nodded understandingly, poured more wine, and told me how she had been alone for a long time after her husband died. She tried to meet new people, but it wasn't the same. There was a quiet resilience in her words, as if she had reconciled herself to her loneliness but still craved companionship. The evening was warm. The window was open and the curtains swayed softly in the wind. An old song from the 80s played softly in the background. The room smelled of pie in summer. Susan got up to clear the table, and I got up to help her. Our gazes met. There was something indescribable in her eyes. I don't know how long we stood like that before she said quietly, "You've grown up." I leaned in and kissed her. She responded softly, tentatively, as if afraid to scare the moment away. Her lips were soft and warm, with a hint of wine. The moment seemed timeless, as if the world around us had stopped to allow us to exist in this bubble of intimacy. The next few months were like a dream. I went to work, she went about her business. She cooked, read books, and occasionally went to her part-time job. We grew closer in the evenings. The age difference didn't matter. We spent weekends exploring the city, going to parks and cooking together. There was an ease in our communication that I had never experienced before. But it all ended when her daughter decided to return from abroad and move back to our hometown. Susan said it would be right for me to move out. I understood. I packed up my things, found another apartment, and started to move on with my life. Eventually, I met a girl, got married, and life moved on. Sometimes I run into Susan at the store or on the street. We exchange a few words about the weather and our kids. I have 2 of my own now, but in our eyes is frozen the memory of those summer evenings when time seemed to stop and age was just a number. The smell of morning coffee, apple pie, and quiet music from the radio are still vivid in my memory. Those moments taught me that connections can arise in the most unexpected ways and leave a mark forever.